Have you got my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. See, SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing. So this is the amplification for the word SAP.
Mm-hmm.
So SAP is called an ERP package or ERP software. So before going to understand what is SAP, first we have to understand what is the concept of ERP. Right.
Okay.
So here ERP again stands for Enterprise Resources Planning. So enterprise means any business organization is called enterprise. Then every business organization, while doing the business, they use some resources like men, material, machines, and money. And
Mm-hmm.
the availability of these resources is very much limited to any enterprise. Now, you take any business enterprise, the main objective is to maximize the profits. It's not just earning the profits, earning maximum profits, right?
Mm.
And by the way, what's your qualification, Mr. Gandhi?
I'm an engineer in electronics and communications.
Okay. So, the main objective of any business enterprise is to maximize the profits. For that purpose, every business organization will have two alternatives. One is, in order to maximize the profits, they have to increase the sales.
Mm-hmm.
Again, to increase the sales, they have to increase the production. Again, to increase the production, they have to increase the utilization of these four resources, but these are not plenty available to any enterprise. So there is a limitation to the organization's capacity to go on increasing the production beyond a certain point. So
Right.
automatically there is a limitation to their capacity to maximize their profits. So the first alternative is not compatible with the organizational needs. Then organizational objective. Then what is the second alternate? You take any business enterprise, whether large or small, whatever it is, they will have some amount of resources. So whatever the amount of resources they are having, they have to use them in the most effective manner so that profits are maximized. So in this particular context, the concept of planning will come into existence. So enterprise resources planning means planning for the effective utilization of the available resources of the company to maximize the profits. Simply
Okay.
saying, that is the concept of enterprise resources planning.
Okay.
So it covers all the techniques and concepts for the best utilization of the resources of the enterprise to maximize the profits. So ERP is based on the integrated management of all the departments in the enterprise. So what is the integrated management? Here you have to establish the links among the departments in the enterprise. This is called integrated management. Here, let us see how the concept of ERP helps the business enterprises to maximize their profits. Before that, we should understand what are the disadvantages in the existing organization structure. So, for example, if you take this is an organization, you have many departments like finance and accounts, marketing, sales and distribution, then you have production planning and control, then production, then HR, then purchase. Like that, you have many departments in the enterprise. Then every department, they have to work towards the achievement of the organizational goal, that is maximization of the profits. During this process, every individual department will have their own goals and objectives. See, for example, take the finance and accounts department. Its main objective is to generate the maximum rate of return on the investment. So maximum rate of investment means shareholders investment. For that purpose, the finance department wants to reduce the expenditure wherever it is possible. So by reducing the expenditure, it wants to contribute to the maximization of the profits. Then you take marketing department. Its main objective is to create the market for the organization's product so that profits are increased, so that sales are increased, and by that profits are increased. So here, for that purpose, it wants to conduct some advertising activities or some sales promotion activities which involves spending of funds again. See, if you observe, the finance department and marketing department, both the departments are trying to maximize the profits, but the way in which they are trying is different. Means the finance department is trying to maximize the profits by reducing the expenditure. At the same time, marketing department is also trying to maximize the profits by incurring some additional expenditure. Have you got my point, Mr. Gandhi?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So this leads to the conflict between finance department and marketing department. So like that, I will give you one more example. See, take production planning and control department. Generally, this department wants to maintain minimum possible stocks of the materials because in order to minimize the carrying cost. So carrying cost means here you have to lock up some working capital in the stocks. If you have borrowed that working capital from the banks, you have to pay interest to the bankers on the working capital. So interest is one aspect of the carrying cost. Then you have to pay for the rent of the warehouse. Then you have to pay for the salaries of the people working in the warehouse. So all these expenses together is called carrying cost. So in order to minimize the carrying cost, the production planning department wants to maintain minimum stocks of the materials. But at the same time, the production department wants to have optimum stocks of the materials so that their production function is not disturbed. So again, there exists the conflict between production department and planning department. Like that, in the organization, there exist different conflicts among the departments. As a result, the management has to spend a lot of its time on bringing the coordination among these departments. Due to this fact, they don't have the sufficient time to analyze the performance of the organization and to take the effective strategic decisions. This is the biggest disadvantage that is faced by the managements of the companies.
Okay.
Now, let us analyze from another angle. See, for example, the effectiveness of any or the efficiency of the any enterprise depends upon the effectiveness of the functioning of these departments. In order to enable these departments production has to be completed. Simply putting, this is called production schedule. So in order to prepare the production schedule, the production planning department wants to have, and it has to get some information from the sales and distribution, that is the date of delivery required by the customer. So the date of delivery required by the customer is available in the sales and distribution. In order to prepare the schedule, this department, production planning department, requires that information. Means the production planning and control department is depending on sales and distribution department for the information purpose. Similarly, you take purchase department. Its main function is to procure the raw materials required in the production department. Means again, whenever the purchase department wants to purchase the materials, they have to get the information from the production department regarding the raw material requirements. Means the purchase department is depending on production department for the information purpose. Now, you take accounts department. It has to account for all expenses and incomes which are taking place in every department. Means the accounts department has to get the information from all other departments to perform its accounting function. Like that, every department depends upon other departments for the information purpose. So here, which is not there in the real time. Even though see, in order to enable these departments to function effectively, as I told you, there should be the uninterrupted flow of information among all the departments, which is not there in the real-time organizations. Even though every department is computerized, that computerization is limited to the boundaries of that particular department. Means the planning department will be using another software, HR department will be using another software, purchase is using another software, like that. So every department, they are using their own softwares, but there is no proper integration of the connections among these softwares. That's why here every department has to wait for the time. Means every department has to wait for information from the other departments. So time is wasted here. So as a result, the production cycle will be more. This is another disadvantage in the typical organization structure. Now let us analyze from another angle. See, you take the purchase department. See, when the purchase department procures the materials, that is entered in the purchase department in terms of quantities. Then the same invoice is again sent to the accounts department to enter the values in terms of values in the finance department, because the finance department is always concerned with the values only. So here one invoice is entered once in the purchase department in terms of quantities, and again the same invoice is also entered in the accounts department again in terms of values. This is called duplication of work. So here we are paying the salaries to the people in purchase department and again to the people in the accounts department, but both are performing the same work, which leads to the wastage of money resources. So if you waste your money, how can we maximize our profits? Absolutely no. This is another disadvantage. Then finally, let us analyze from another angle. See, there are many people, like in the middle level management and top level management, there are many people who has to take the effective decisions every day. So in order to enable these people to take the effective decisions, we should ensure they should be provided with the right information in right time. So let us take the case of general manager finance. For a particular decision making purpose, he wants to know what is the total amount of purchases that have been made as on today. In this case, the purchase department will give one figure and the finance and accounts department will give another figure due to time lag, because the purchase department is in California and finance accounts department is in Washington. So each and every individual invoice received by the purchase department cannot be sent immediately to accounts department in Washington. Some invoices the purchase department will bundle together and those invoices are sent to the accounts department in Washington. This leads to the mismatching of information, right? So means here the GM finance is not provided with the right information in right time. So as a result, the GM finance may not be able to take the optimum decisions and profits may not be optimized. Like that, there are many disadvantages in the typical organizational structure. In this particular scenario, the concept of ERP has been developed. Actually, the concept of this ERP is the result of information technological developments. See, as I told you, under the concept of ERP, what we do is we maintain one common database or central database. Then this common database or central database is given access to every department in the enterprise, subject to some restrictions regarding the access. And one more thing is, once you start moving up in the organizational hierarchy, the extent of access given is also increased. Okay, let us assume that we are maintaining the common database. Now we will see how the common database helps the business enterprise to eliminate all the disadvantages discussed previously. Now you take the production planning and control department. It has to get the information regarding the date of delivery required by the customer, which is available in the sales and distribution department. So how that is made available readily to the planning department? See, when the sales and distribution department accepts the order from a customer, it prepares one document which is called sales order. So the sales order contains the information such as name of the customer, quantity, details of the product, then price particulars, quality, and expected date of delivery required by him. So all that information is contained in the sales order. Then the sales and distribution person will enter that sales order into common database. Then the person who is responsible to prepare the production schedule will be given access to that sales order. So he can just log on into central database and he can identify the sales order. From that sales order, again he can identify the date of delivery required by the customer, and accordingly he will prepare the schedule. In this case, wherever may be your sales and distribution department and wherever may be your production department, the planning department. So because of this central database, the production planning clerk is provided with the information immediately so that he need not waste any time. Then you take the information requirement of the purchase department. whenever there is the requirement for the material in the production department, the production clerk will enter that requirement into common database. This is called material requisition. The material requisition contains the details of the materials required in the production. Suppose if the material is there in the stock, the stores people will issue the material to the production. Suppose if the material is not there in the stock, again the stores people will prepare another document which is called purchase requisition. Then that is entered in the common database. The requirements will come down so that the interest burden on the organization is reduced like anything. That's how it is going to help the business enterprises to maximize the profits. Now we will see how the duplication of work is eliminated. See, when the purchase department enters the invoice in the common database, it will automatically post the entries in the books of accounts in the accounts department through integration, right? So there is no need to send the again invoice to accounts department. It is enough once you enter the purchase invoice in the purchase department. It will have the effect in the accounts department also. That's how the duplication of work is eliminated. Now let us see how the GM Finance is provided with the right information. He need not ask anybody in the organization regarding any information. He can just log on into common database and he can find out the total amount of purchases that have been made as on today, right? So here what happens is when the purchase department enters the invoice in the common database, it will update automatically the purchase figures, the inventory figures of the respective materials, and also the vendor figures, etc., etc. Means all the relevant information is immediately updated in the common database. So by just logging into common database, the GM Finance can find out the information of purchases. For that matter, not only GM Finance, every employee in the middle level management and top level management who has to have the information, they can just log in to common database and they can find out the required information. That's how the concept of ERP helps the business enterprises to maximize their profits. Clear, Mr. Gandhi, till now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, how ERP helps? I'm just summarizing the total explanation in these sentences. All the data is available in the central database. That eliminates data redundancy. Redundancy means data duplication is eliminated.
Yes. Yes.
Then data is updated and available in real time. One point entry of data. If you enter the data at one point of the organization, it will have the effect in other points of the organization. Then best business practices inbuilt. Every ERP product has been developed after carrying on a lot of research on business practices of different industries. So whatever the business practices they thought best, those best business practices are inbuilt in these ERP softwares. So when the business organizations start using the ERP softwares, they can take the advantage of these best business practices also. Then modular system means for managing every department, you have the separate software that is called modular system. Can implement only in required functions. Means it's not that you have to use the SAP, you have to use the ERP software in all the departments. You can use only in FI department, you can use only in FI and MM and SD, like that. According to the requirements of the management, they can start using the ERP software in some of the departments. Then once they are satisfied with the results, right, they can go, they means the management can go further using the same ERP software in other departments also. Then they can easily be integrated. That is the meaning of this. Then managers can utilize their time in analysis and spend less time in coordination effort. This is the very important advantage of this ERP software. Now, in the market, you have hundreds of ERP products. SAP, Oracle, BAN, PeopleSoft, etc., etc. So Oracle is specialized in the management of the finance department, and BAN is specialized in the management of the production department, and PeopleSoft is specialized in the management of HR function. Of course, nowadays, recently the PeopleSoft has been acquired by Oracle, right?
Yeah.
So if you take SAP, it provides the solutions for the management of each and every department in the enterprise, and the level of integration you can achieve with the help of SAP is very high when compared to the level of integration you can achieve with the help of other ERP products. That is why this SAP is enjoying nearly 70% of the market share internationally, and the remaining 30% is shared by other ERP products. That is why we have a lot of employment opportunities only in case of SAP, right?
Okay.
Now, this is the software. This SAP software was developed by a company which is known as SAP AG. It's a German company.
Okay.
Right? It was established in 1972, and its headquarters are at Waldorf, Germany. This is just a brief history of the SAP company. Right? Now, let us see the evaluation of the product. In 1972, SAP has developed a product known as SAP R1 Suite. In 1980s, it has developed a product known as R2 Suite, SAP R2 Suite. In 1990s, it has developed a product known as SAP R3 Suite, and this is the product what we are using now. Right? This SAP R3 Suite is one of the products of the SAP company. It has many other products like BW, XI, SRM, CRM, like that. It has many other products. Among these products, SAP R3 is one product which has gained very much popularity, right? So, the recent or the present version of SAP is ECC 6.0. So here ECC stands for ERP Central Component, right? So let us try to understand what is the nature of this product. Then SAP stands for, systems, applications, and products for data processing. Mainly, it contains the softwares to meet the data processing requirements of the companies. Then, suite means collection of some things. See here, SAP software comes with the different programs necessary to manage your departments. So it is the combination of these softwares. That's why SAP has used the word suite in the name of its product. Then coming to R3, this is very, very important. See here, R stands for real-time data processing. Real-time data processing means whenever you perform an operation on the data elements, the related database is instantly updated. Means, for example, you take bank ATM. Whenever you draw money from the bank ATM, it is giving back your updated statement immediately. Why? It is working on the principles of real-time data processing concept. So like that, SAP also uses the real-time data processing concept. That is why when you enter the purchase invoice in the purchase department, it is updating the purchase figures and the stock figures and vendor figures in the accounts department. This is the result of the real-time data processing. So SAP also uses the same data processing concept. That's why it has incorporated the letter R in the name of its product. Then coming to 3. 3 stands for 3-tier architecture. Actually, it refers to the hardware setup. See, not only SAP, every ERP, they use the client-server technology. Means there are some clients and there are some servers. Here, both the servers and clients are same, physical computer systems, but the servers are with large storage capacity and clients are with small storage capacity. Under the 3-tier architecture, we have the database server layer, then application server layer, then client or presentation server layer. So the database server means it is the server in which the database of the organization is kept. What does the database contains? The business transactions posted every day by the employees. So whenever there is a question of database, there comes the concept of database management. So who is responsible to manage this database? As a SAP professionals, we are not concerned with the database management. There are some separate professionals like database managers or database administrators to manage the database. And this database is administered on the principles of RDBMS, means Relational Database Management Tools, right? So for that purpose, you have many RDBMS tools in the market, like Oracle, SQL Server, Informix, DB2, like that. You have many RDBMS tools. So based on the budget of the company, they can go for any of the RDBMS tools. So that is in most of the cases, Oracle is used. So that is the thing regarding database server. Then coming to application server. Here APS means application server 1. APS 1 means application server 1, application server 2, application server 3. Like that, you have to have some number of application servers. Why? Because if you have only one application server, right, every employee will be trying to access the same server. In that case, right, the processing time will be more. That's why again you are wasting the time. That is why we have to have some number of application servers, and how many and who will decide. This I will tell you within the next few minutes. So here the application server contains the SAP software hosted in that. The SAP software has, or it will have, the programming logic necessary to process the business transactions. So that is the thing regarding application server. Then C1, C2, C3 means clients. So these are the systems used by the end users, right? So here, see, these are the client systems. These are the client systems, and different clients are connected to different application servers, and all the application servers are connected to database server. And this database server is managed on the principles of relational database management system. So here if you observe, all the clients together is called one layer, right? And all the application servers together is another layer, and the database is another layer. That's why this is called three-tier architecture. Nowadays, we are using only three-tier architecture. In the case of two-tier, right, the database and SAP application both are hosted in the same server. So the first layer and second layer will become the one layer, and the clients are third layer. That's why this is called two-tier architecture. So as I told you, the product what we are using now is SAP R3 product. Under that, basically, you have the two types of modules. One is functional modules. Each functional module is related to manage your one department. Under the functional modules, we have financial accounting and controlling, which is simply called FICO. Then we have the materials management, MM. Then sales and distribution, SD. Then human resources management, HR. Then quality management, QM. Then PM, plant maintenance. Then project systems, production planning and control, PPC, real estate management. Then workflow. So these are the functional modules in the SAP R3 product. Here every module is a separate software, and each software is integrated with the other software. So these are the software means. Here one more thing is, the companies cannot purchase only FICO, only MM, only SD. They have to purchase the SAP licenses, or you can say user licenses. Then the SAP company will deliver all these softwares together for them. And it is the will and test of the company to use, company means your client company, to use one or more or all of these softwares. And softwares means there should be a language in which they have been developed. That language is ABAP language, which is called technical module. On the technical side, you have the ABAP language. It is the own programming language of SAP AG company. So ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming Language. Then you have another technical module, BASIS, Business Application Software Integrated Systems. And this is just like the own this is the own operating system of SAP AG company. So in order to use all the previous softwares, you have to have this BASIS operating system installed in the servers. So these two are called technical modules, and these are called functional modules. Suppose if you want to learn ABAP, you have to have the programming knowledge. And if you want to learn basis, you have to have the operating system knowledge and also the networking knowledge. But if you want to learn any of the functional modules, you have to have the working knowledge from the academic side of the respective module, or you may have to have the domain knowledge. Any one is enough. Here you need not write any programming at all, right? You just have to make some settings. Here there are two types of jobs as far as SAP is concerned. One is consultant and the other is end user. So end user means the employee working in the organization which is using SAP software. So the main job of the end user is to enter the transactions and to generate the reports and to analyze the reports. So this is the main job of the end user. So in order to enable the end user to do all these functions, already there should be some settings which should have been done by the consultant. So unless the consultant does the settings, the end user cannot use the software. So that is the job of the consultant. So the main job of the consultant is to make the settings in the software so that it can be used by the end users. Technically speaking, it is the configuration and customization. So the job of the consultant is to configure and customize the SAP software according to the client requirements. Here our module is FICO. So FICO is the very demanded module, and it is the combination of two modules. One is financial accounting and the other is controlling. So FI stands for financial accounting. It is used to prepare the financial statements according to the legal provisions of the respective countries. So that is the main purpose of this financial accounting. You can prepare the financial statements according to the legal requirements of the respective countries. See, for example, you take Indian companies. They have to prepare the financial statements according to Indian Companies Act. And you take US companies. They have to prepare the financial statements according to US Companies Act. So for that purpose, right, this FI component is used. So here financial statements means profit and loss account, balance sheet, then funds flow statement and cash flow statement. So for that purpose, here we have the other submodules like general ledger accounting, which you see in the recent version, the SAP company has introduced another concept, new GL. So new GL also we are going to teach you in the classes, right? Then accounts payable, which is used to manage our creditors, and the accounts receivables, which is used to manage our customers, and asset accounting for the purpose of managing the fixed assets. Then treasury management. See, actually in treasury management, we are going to deal with the cash management only, right? Not with the other modules like portfolio management and funds management. So these are the 5 submodules on which I am going to provide you the training. Then again, within the each submodule, you have many other more topics, right? So you can just refer to the site monsterscourses.com, right, for the content, or you can ask this guy he will send you the detailed content of this F5, right? So after these 5 modules, I will show you how to prepare the financial statements. So that will be the end of the financial accounting. After that, we have the controlling component. The main purpose of the controlling component is to provide the information to the middle level management and top level management, because these people are very much worried about the performance of the enterprise. Here, the middle level management always responsible for the performance of the enterprise, and the top management is very much interested, and their main function itself is to take the strategic decisions. In both the types of managements, they require some information for their purposes, and that information is totally provided by this controlling component. That's why this controlling component is called internal reporting tool. So for that purpose, in the controlling component, we have the cost element accounting, cost center accounting, internal order accounting, profitability analysis, profit center accounting, and product costing, right? See, these are the 6 submodules that are there in the controlling. So I'm going to cover all these 6 submodules very extensively. Generally, in most of the training institutes, what they do is they concentrate and they tell you very good in respect of FI, but when it comes to controlling, they complete total controlling within 7 or 10 days. But in my case, controlling takes minimum to minimum 25 days. because here controlling is a very typical one and it's a very demanded one also. That too, the payment for this controlling consultant is also very high. See, actually, in order to explain you the controlling processes or the costing processes, the trainer should have worked in the manufacturing organizations. Being a cost accountant, I have worked in two industries. One is consumer goods industry and the other is textile industry. So based on that knowledge, I can make your people to understand the costing process very simply, right? So again, there are many topics in the respective submodules. You can find all this content from the net. The other topics I'm going to cover is integration of financial accounting with materials management. Because I told you, here when you enter the purchase invoice in the purchase department, it will post the accounting entries in the books of accounts. For that purpose, we need to integrate. Means we need to connect component with the FI component. That is called integration of financial accounting with materials management. Then we have integration of financial accounting with the sales and distribution. These two types of integrations I'm going to cover in the classes. Then closing procedures. Once the financial statements are prepared, the closing balances of GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts that to be carried forward to the next year. These are called closing procedures. Then I will provide you some tips on ABAP and basis. So all these classes, right, will take 50 hours.
Okay.
So every day the class timing is 8 p.m. EST, right? Monday to Friday, right? Monday to Friday. So how I am going to teach you means what are the materials I am going to provide you, right? How do I proceed in the class? See, every setting. Just a minute. Here, for every topic, I have prepared the presentations like this. Suppose organization structure is there. So I will explain first what is the organization structure. Then I will explain what is company code, and what is business area. Then after that, all this explanation has been documented. Just not this one. All the explanation has been documented here. Company code, business. Suppose how to create company, right? So in the material I have given you the path, no? So how to create company I will show you lively to you, right? See, SPRO, enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, define company. Then click on new entries. So against company you have to give some identification. All these things I will explain like this, right? Every setting I will show you in the live servers, and for every topic I will send you the 3 types of materials. So all these classes will take nearly 50 hours. Then after the classes, right, I will send you the sample resumes. Then I will send you the certification materials. Then also interview questions, right? And I will send you the project blueprint, right? I will send you the project blueprint, and it includes all the documentation.
What is the project blueprint?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you, right? See, in the real-time project, the functional consultant has to prepare a lot of documentation, right? All these documentation together is called blueprint, right? So I will send you that blueprint also based on the real-time project.
Okay.
That's how we go with the classes, right? Already 3-4 classes have been over. There are 7 people in the class, right? So if you like to join the class, I will arrange you to take you the backup class. Otherwise, I will send you the recorded sessions. And only for the initial classes only, I send the recording sessions, and for the other classes, I don't send the recording sessions. But if you miss any class, right, then I will record the session and I will send you the recording session.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so basically, like I'm looking for joining the classes like in a couple of days, not really right now, because for a couple of days I will not be available because we have the Christmas holidays here, and I have plans to go to Chicago. So I don't know, like I was looking for classes in the initial week of January. So do you have some batches starting during that time?
Yes, yes, yes. Maybe I'm going to start a weekend batch.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have the, just a minute.